Enemy comes 300 yards inside the range. Nu'man, after the third time this guy asks, Nu'man says, radiallahu anhu says, I can't see the winds of Allah's help. How can I give you orders? I cannot see them. And everyone's looking at what is Nu'man talking about. All of a sudden, when the army is about very close, about 100 yards they say, Nu'man starts smiling and says, I see the winds of Allah's help. I see them. And everyone starts rejoicing, and the enemy starts panicking as to why these Muslims are rejoicing. It's so close to attack. And everyone rejoicing, saying, Allahu Akbar. And people are just trying to embrace it, that Allah's help has come. एक बंदा काफी होता है पूरी दुनिया को वक्त डालने के लिए. एक चिंगारी कहीं से लग जाए कि किसी बंदे को क्लियर हो गई बात. Let me tell you, and I'm going to ask you, what's the meaning of this? Okay, let me tell you a little story. Tell me what it means to you. Because in current day and age, I am guessing you're not going to get it. There's this big desert. Imagine that. Imagine this desert in which there's an army, Muslim army, who is looking ahead at the enemy, which is 3 times the number. There are 3,100 Muslim soldiers. And about 10,000 enemy, strong, well-built, shining silver armor coming the Muslim way. And this Muslim leader, Nu'man radiallahu anhu, okay, that's his name. He's standing with the flag in his hand, grounded in the sand. And he's staring right inside those shining armor of that enemy. All the Muslim soldiers are waiting when Nu'man is going to give the order. And he's just looking. Anyone has heard this? This is a very famous incident. Okay. Tell me what it means. Okay, I'm going to ask you. And I'm going to ask you the most simple question, no trick questions here. Okay, because this is Islam, and this is how far we are from it, and this is why. I'll tell you, all women, you're going to feel this. This is why none of you guys can guarantee, none of you guys, that whatever you're going to ask for a prayer today or tomorrow is going to come true. If anything, all of us can guarantee that most of our prayers are not going to come true. And that's exactly what we're all actually thinking to our own selves alone on the Janamaz every single day. We have lost the faith in our own prayers. Okay? Let's not sugarcoat anything. We know that we don't pray with an anticipation of a high probability. We all know that. I'll tell you why it happens. Okay, this is why I'm actually trying to wake up everybody. So Nu'man radiallahu anhu is standing, this flag is waving, and everybody's waiting for Nu'man to say, jump in. But nobody can, because this is the rule of Islam, that when the commander, unless the commander gives an order, you cannot do anything. It's way more critical than during a Jama'ah. In the Jama'ah, Imam says Allahu Akbar, everybody says Allahu Akbar. You cannot just say Allahu Akbar before. But this is not as critical as inside the war situation. So Nu'man radiallahu anhu is just standing, he's just staring, dead eyes, inside the ranks. And everyone's quivering as to what's going on. So one Sahabi, he just comes in close to Nu'man, okay? And he dares to say, of course, the question everyone's thinking about. What are you waiting for? ماذا تنتظر? ماذا تنتظر? He hears it 3 times. تنتظر. And then he looks back. And then he looks up. And then he starts staring. And the enemy comes 300 yards inside the range. Okay? I was 12 or 13 when I heard this story, and I asked a simple question to my teacher. He was a Yemeni, and I asked him, because he was narrating, and he was, this dude had this habit of just going into the details. I'm not going into the details, okay? I'm just building up so that everybody gets connected. And I expect you guys to understand and ask that question too. And if you don't worry about it. I'm going to help you. Because I just want to understand how far are we from each other. Literally each other. Right now, right here. So, Nu'man, after the third time this guy asks, Nu'man says, radiallahu anhu says, La ara riyaha aunillah. And then he starts looking around and says, La ara riyaha aunillah. La ara riyaha aunillah. And everyone in the rank starts running inside the air. You know what that means? He says, I can't see the winds of Allah's help. How can I give you orders? I cannot see them. And everyone's looking at what is Nu'man talking about? All of a sudden, when the army is about very close, about 100 yards they say, Nu'man starts smiling and says, I see the winds of Allah's help. I see them. And everyone starts rejoicing, and the enemy starts panicking as to why these Muslims are rejoicing. It's so close to attack. And everyone rejoicing, saying, Allahu Akbar. And people are just trying to embrace that Allah's help has come. It seems like a fairy tale, doesn't it? You tell it to any faith, fairy tale. Any ethnicity, it's a fairy tale. Or you tell it to your kids in New Zealand right now, in Australia right now, who are 10 or 12, they're going to say it's fairy tale. Even though they're Muslims. Okay? Now tell me something, before I assume that you know what it means. What did Nu'man mean? Radiallahu anhu. What did he see? What did it translate into in the minds of the rest of the Sahaba? What is this? What's going on here? It's a simple question. What's going on here? See, the word is la ara. Ara means he can literally see, right? It's not about feeling it. It's about seeing it. It's time to plug in this. I want to plug this in. I want to show you the model of the Sahabi psychology. I want to show you that. The makeup of the Sahabi psychology. Okay? It's not faith. Of course it is. Built up on faith. Built up on faith. But I'm telling you this right now, inshallah, if tested, you and I will have a lot of faith which can literally be, measured into enough of a substance that we can die for it. I think I can vouch for most of you guys that you want, given a chance, would die for the faith of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? I don't have any doubts about this. But so it's not just faith. There's something else that they are actually structured into. I need you to get your hands into that machine so that you can structure yourself into it and your kids. I want to tell you a million more stories about, literal, true stories about what was going on in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. But the way they've been told to us has two problems. Number one, there's a bigger piece of the puzzle missing, which I'll tell you what it is. That's why I'm here. And when they're told to us these kind of stories, the storyteller himself does not believe in those stories. The Muslim does not even believe. Because if you're going to ask him, how did Ali ibn Abi Talib did this? Or Umar Khattab said, no, go from the left, Abu Ubaidah. And Abu Ubaidah is 5,000 kilometers down north in Syria or wherever. And everybody can hear Umar Khattab saying, no, not from the left, go from the right. And Abu Ubaidah says, did you hear Umar Khattab? Everyone says, yeah. It's not just you. Everybody heard Umar Khattab's voice coming from the heavens, literally. Even though he was in Medina at that time. So even the storyteller does not carry the same belief. Because I'll tell you what's missing. I'll show it to you, the whole model, don't worry. There's something I want to tell you before I tell you all of this. So, anybody? Nu'man. La ara. What does that mean? I don't see. Okay, I'll help you. I'll help you because we're not trained into Islam. Big statement, isn't it? We're not trained into Islam. It's like I'm the only guy. Huh? No, that's not how it works. He did see Allah's help coming. It is not a metaphor. I'll show you what he saw later. But just to help your minds right now, he did actually see Allah's help coming down. Yes.
I think his elbow was clearing.
What's your name, ma'am? This is the second time you did this to me. What's your name? Rushna. Serotonin alpha. We're not going to talk about this today. Okay?
She's used to it.
Yeah, so Rushna, give me something. Use words that everybody else can understand.
Look at, as I said, these guys had a very strong belief in God.
Well, Alexander never claimed that Allah's help is coming.
He said that God is not going to abandon them. And just because he can't see,
No, even if there was a false statement from Alexander saying, I see Zeus descending down upon us. No, he never said that. Even if he did say that, that's a motivational lecture. Nu'man radiallahu anhu is not giving motivation to people. Actually, on the contrary, he's stopping. No, Allah is not. Allah. Ji, yes, sir. Well, no, not in this case. You came close and you missed it. No.
I think he took leadership for all the Muslim Ummah, and that's why.
What's your name?
Maybe.
Explain that, please. I can't expect such a straight-on answer. That is the truth. That is what's going on. Marine, how old are you? Yeah, see? We can talk about Islam but not our age. Marine, come on. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you, Marine, not to pick on you. I'm not talking about you. But, women all generally, you're losing your power. You're losing your power every single day. What if I started acting like I'm 18? Won't I be losing my power? If I start acting like I'm 18, I'm hanging out with 18-year-olds, trying to do whatever I can, wear whatever I can do to look 18, would you respect me? Or maybe you would like me as a retard. You would think of me as a special child. Something broke in my brain, ASD sort of thing. But you would not respect me. You'd feel bad for me or take some pity on me. How come the rules are reversed in your minds when you think we are supposed to respect you, but you're trying to look 20 years younger? The rules are not reversed. We also like wise women guiding our kids. You understand me? It's a simple rule. Liberate yourselves. Liberate yourselves. Yes, Marine, you were right on the money. But can anyone understand what she just said? Or translate into the meaning of what Sahabas were actually, translating all of this into. Marine?
They took accountability for all the Muslims in the sense that they were leading them towards a cause set by Allah, and that made the trust from the Muslims towards the leader. And so the leadership brings a lot of responsibility with it, and they were ready to take.
Okay, I'm not going to give you all the benefits of the doubt here. So let me just translate this. All the Muslims meaning?
The Muslims who were the army behind them.
Now, see now. No. So you know what I was thinking? You nailed it. Go on. Anybody else? But even if you did, if this is on paper, she's right. Okay, but she's just narrowing the scope of that man and his whole philosophy here. But you're not going to get what my question is still not answered. What did he see? You want me to change the sahabi, change the dates, change the event? Same help? You want me to do that? Okay, I'll tell you something. When a Muslim comes into his own core, when a Muslim is come to his own core, it can be measured in numbers, literally in numbers. I'll show you the formula. That's why I came here. And I tried to do that in Pakistan, nobody got it. And when people started getting it, they started understanding that the number is too less, because they know how to calculate the worth of a Muslim. And in Pakistan, the worth of a Muslim cannot be as much as it is here in Australia. See? It is not by chance Allah has brought you here. You can do a lot more here if you only know the math. So you need to be a little more expressive. So Nu'man, radiallahu anhu, he saw the sky breaking down. Okay? He saw the sky breaking down. The whole heaven is opening up. One Sahabi narrates, you know what, let's just keep the Sahabis alive for just 1 second. Abu Sufyan, when he was not a Muslim, he saw the same event happening when? In Badr. And you know what? He's the first man to cry. Jibreel has come for that aid of Muhammad. And then the Sahabas looked up and saw all the angels descending down. Okay, so it's not just the faith. It's not just the faith that you can see things. When Muslims are going to be in their own, which is their whole substance, their element, your element, the whole world's going to see. That's the problem. We're not primed to believe. I'm telling you, half of your brain does not even believe me right now, right here. Half of your brain. And the rest of the half is trying to convince the half of the brain that, yeah, you know what? It could be right. Because it is written. That's how